Welcome back to the Jojitorium. You know who it is. It's Decaying with the boys, Adam and Matt, and we are bringing you a completely jam-packed episode. The world of wrestling is abuzz. But before we start diving into that, we are going to talk to you about the beer that we're going to have throughout the episode. I was supposed to be the good person here and bring something, but Adam swooped in with the save. So, Adam, please let the people know what we're going to be drinking throughout this epised.
Sure thing. I can't show up empty-handed. You know that. So I brought Necromancer Brewing Company's Poker Face Black IPA. It was just released yesterday.
Wonderful.
So I swung up there and got some. They're up in the North Hills area of Pittsburgh right now.
Okay.
They're just doing to-go can sales. They're across from the Old Country Wine, like right off McKnight Road, not too far off.
Okay. McKnight Road's pretty accessible, too, from, just about anywhere.
So, yeah, it's a black IPA, like I said. Their head brewer is Lauren Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
She was there with the assistant brewer, Mikey, yesterday. And
wonderful.
we're very kind and wanted our feedback on this, so I will probably be sending them a text after we're done recording the episode today. And they also just did a collab with Trace Brewing and the Pittsburgh Diversity Council on the She Knows Beer New England IPA.
That's wonderful, man. That's a cool movement. I'm glad that because those are three phenomenal breweries that come together. Well, the breweries and the Diversity Council. And also, like, we're friends with Mr. Dennis Guy, who's pretty predominant in that council as well. So I'm glad to see that, you know, they're bringing their collective genius together to make cool beers too, to go along with, you know, inclusion in craft beer industry.
Yeah, I got a couple of those stashed in my cooler too, so we'll try those later in the episode or after.
But don't worry, we'll definitely let you guys know how we feel about all of them. But thanks again to Adam for bailing me out. So while Adam pours these beers for us to sample at the beginning of the show, like I said, this is an action-packed episode. We're going to be going over AEW news, WWE news, the recap of Double or Nothing. There's so much going on here, and I can't wait to get into all of it. But first and foremost, thank you guys again for tuning in to us, because we don't get to do what we do without you guys tuning in to us. So, but before we get into the recap of Double or Nothing, let's cheers up and get our first sip out of this bad boy. What's it called again?
Poker Face.
Poker Face. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Nice. Just sharp at the beginning. Nice bitterness on the rollout.
Yeah, super roasty. I always get disappointed when I order a black IPA and then it's just malty and there's not that roast.
Yeah.
This has a ton of roast and
exactly.
then hops all throughout. It is delicious.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you saved me with this beer, because no disrespect to the other breweries in my beer fridge, but I'm sorry, boys and girls, nothing you guys were putting together was going to rival this one. So great job, Necromancer. I can't wait to get out to you guys when you're pouring drafts. So, Adam, I can't believe that we got to witness probably one of the best wrestling cards of the year, hands down.
Hands down, best of the year.
And we put it out to Twitter, and our listeners came back and overwhelmingly giving this a grade of A overall. Thank you everyone who follows us on Twitter at Dwtb. Keep voting when we keep putting polls out. But yeah, let's dive into Double or Nothing. So, going right off on the buy-in, which is usually reserved for like a brief summary of the card for the night, they actually put a match on with two of my favorite wrestlers. So Serena Deeb put her NWA championship on the line against one of the amazing sensations from across the pond, Rio. These two are easily in the top 10 performers right now in the current women's wrestling across the world, and it was phenomenal to see these two go after each other.
Yeah, for sure. Serena Deeb is one of my favorites. I have to believe you on this one, though. I did not watch the buy-in, so I missed this match.
So Maddie gets to take the lead on this one. So I will tell you right now that what you got to see here was two completely sound technicians of mat work kind of come together. The beginning of the match was slow, like filling each other out, but when they turned it on, I mean, it was combination after combination, rollouts, roll-ups, submissions, high-flying. But eventually Serena Deeb, the woman of 1,000 holds.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, her mat work's incredible in every match I've ever seen her in.
She overwhelmed Rio. At the end, started working on the knee viciously. Serena has a bit of a heel touch to her, and she went to town on Rio's knee and put her in the Serenity Lock. And then I've never seen a performer get bent that way. I mean, Rio sold that submission. It made me cringe when I was watching it.
Very important question. How many doilies was Rio wearing?
Several dozen.
She always has like doilies around her wrist and on her shoulders.
It's always cool to watch her jump off the top rope too, because like she has several capes. But she is as fierce as many doilies as she wears. She put on a great match. Beautiful job on the buy-in. Serena Deeb retains the NWA Championship, and I cannot wait to see who else steps up to try to take that belt from her, because Adam, your favorite phrase is back on the table with the Forbidden Door. Yeah. It is open, buddy. Anyone can come through, so we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We will see.
So then we start moving into the actual card itself, where we see a dream matchup that I had as soon as both these guys premiered at their own different times. But Adam Hangman Page versus Brian the Machine Cage.
Yeah, man. So right off the top, and why this is the best show of the year, without argument, is the crowd reaction. Was huge at the open.
Super pop.
Pretty good crowd reaction for Brian Cage, and then they lost their minds for Hangman. Chance of cowboy shit as soon as he comes out. You could see Hangman was literally blown back by the audience when he came out. So very cool. Another thing I noted was the camera angle in Daly's place. It was a very unique how they shot the crowd, how they shot the ring, and I liked it. I really enjoyed it.
For sure.
It was a different perspective. I just feel like, especially with the outdoor setting on these opening matches, it really worked well.
It did.
So Brian Cage comes out looking like the Terminator.
Cool gear.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed
very cool gear.
Yeah.
This was just a really high-paced, kind of spotty match for two bigger guys.
Yeah.
Strong, stiff hits throughout. Hangman hit his moonsault to the outside on Cage beautifully. Cage buckle bombed him into the post.
Yes.
I mean, this thing started hot. And then as they go into the finish, Team Taz comes down. Hook and Ricky Starks come down and
Old
try
Mr.
to run
Broken
interference.
Neck.
Yeah. Brian Cage kind of like blows him off, saying he wants to do it himself, which takes his attention away. Boom, buckshot lariat.
Yeah.
Match over.
There you go. I think one of my favorite parts of this, too, is at one point they exchanged finishers.
Yes.
Page and Cage exchanged.
Although Cage
did
a little stumble, but I mean, Page like caught him and just threw him in the F5, whatever Cage calls it.
Yeah, whatever
F5.
that thing is. But the agility of Brian Cage, that front flip was actually pretty good. Look, you're right, but when he hit, he stumbled a little bit.
It just looked like he twisted his ankle a little bit.
But I tell you what, man, that also speaks to the professional demeanor. Yeah, there you go. I know words.
The skills
of Adam Page to recover in matches is also something that's been heralded across multiple promotions, where he doesn't give up on a move. He tends to, and he's safe too. He's very safe about it, but he tends to find a way to keep it going. And that little hiccup that Brian Cage had on trying to do damn it, what the hell is his
buckshot lariat?
Buckshot lariat. Thank you so much again, Adam. Adam is just saving me all morning.
Monster Energy drink.
Yes, that's focused. It's like Adderall, but it's legal to buy it at the store.
Plus, I watched some of these matches. I ended up just for the show. I watched 3 times, so it was they're kind of fresh in my head.
So Adam is our expert for today, and he's going to save me with all the things I
except for that
on.
buy-in match. Where I was like, oh, I forgot that.
That's what I'm here for. One and done, baby.
But yeah, so match 1 goes to Adam Page. Yeah. Can't be happier. Hopefully this is projecting him into the title picture.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
But yeah, great opener.
Speaking of titles, the next match saw the Young Bucks putting their AEW Tag Championships on the line against Mr. Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley.
Yeah, so Mox and Kingston enter from the backstage area through the door into the crowd. They go nuts. They have the Dior's in hand, swinging them around. That they stole off of the Bucks. I guess it was the Dynamite previous, right?
It was the go home.
Yeah. So that was hilarious. Mox throws a chair across the stadium.
I didn't think. I was like, did they plant that? Because he almost hit several people.
So he whips that, and then he does his best Sandman impersonation with a beer can. So yeah, I mean the crowd in this one again super hot. They blew up for the faces. They booed the hell out of the heels. It was perfect. Perfect build for this. Perfect crowd reaction for this.
Yeah.
High-paced, ultra-violent match. Bucks worked Kingston's leg, and the as he tagged out and Mox got in, the Good Brothers headed out for some interference.
Of course.
Frankie Kazarian, the elite hunter, they're calling him now, took out Carl Anderson, and Kingston took out Big Dummy. Not Big Dummy, Festus. Took out Festus. Mox got some color after being hit with the cooling spray. And then they hit a Meltzer driver on him on the ramp.
Which was sick.
Which really split him open. He did a little stumble around. False finishes for days. They couldn't knock Moxley out. And the Young Bucks finally put him away with a quadruple BTE trigger that just knocked him senseless.
Super brutal.
So Bucks retain by pinfall. For me, loved the match. Hard hitting, fast paced. Didn't like all the 2-on-1. Like, it seemed like it wasn't really a tag match. It seemed like it was always a 2-on-1. Like, there were always 2 Bucks in there, a little too much.
Yeah.
The ref might have lost control, or the booking was just strange. But that's the only thing negative I have to say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think at some point you have to either gain control of that match, or you need to kind of, I like 2-on-1 moves. It's the best thing about tag teaming is to see like super moves. But you're right, man. I felt like the last third of the match, it was 2 Bucks on
either Kingston or Moxley. Yeah.
So there was no chance. Like, they weren't gonna. But great match, and it definitely highlighted the mat work of the Young Bucks against the unbridled violence of Kingston and Moxley. I mean, they definitely clashed their styles well, and even though they took the L, they took it the right way.
Yeah, I mean, they just got brutalized. Like, they went out on their shields. So.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, and I another way around that is maybe just make it a tornado tag next time.
Which would be awesome.
So it's just 4 guys going at it. That would be pretty brutal, especially
Street fight,
especially because Mox and Kingston can brawl.
Oh yeah.
So see what the Bucks can do.
It would be really cool to see that for sure.
Yeah, doing that.
So we go from a pretty high-end match to not so much of a high-end match. I do like both these guys, but this was kind of like this was the one I was worried about. Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Ogogo. In a was that the right match?
Did you miss one? I think the Battle Royal was next.
Oh, you know what? Let's go back. Actually, we went into another fantastic match with the Casino Battle Royale. We saw several mid-carders come in, and you had some bigger high-end guys where you kind of knew it was going to boil down to them.
Right.
But this match I like this match. So
and the winner was getting a
AEW
world title shot.
Yeah,
so you knew one of those higher card, upper mid-card guys was.
You were going to say like Max Caster or 10, even though I love both of those guys.
Right. But nobody part of the tag team was winning this.
No.
So it opened up. With just some. So how it works is every 3 minutes or so, 5 guys come out at a time.
Yeah.
Based on the card suit.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have kind of the highlights. Camarado hit Dustin Rhodes with the cowbell when he was eliminated.
Yes.
There were some good comedy spots. And then Penta came out, I think, in the second group. And he had the sickest drip. Oh. He was dressed like Heath Ledger's Joker mixed with the old school Adam West Joker.
Yeah.
Like, it was
perfect.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Probably the highlight of the match for me. I like Penta already. And then
yeah.
He killed it. Best cosplay on the card for sure. Then the surprise at the end, there's a wild card, a Joker card for a surprise. It's usually a debut in these matches. And Leo Rush debuted.
Yeah, I like Leo Rush a lot. I think that's a good, solid signing for AEW.
Yeah, he was a castaway from NXT. Actually, he made it to the main card for a smidge of time.
Well, here's what I say about the NXT main carding. It's almost like the kiss of death. Like, if you get to the NXT main card, you either have to be wildly successful at the NXT level, or you get called up to the main roster and then you just get forgotten, which we'll talk about later, of course. But
yeah, we got a couple of those instances later.
Yeah, but I think Leo Rush he was fantastic in New Japan.
Yeah.
He performed well over there, and I think he's going to bring almost like a Ricochet-esque skill set to AEW, which will be pretty cool.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how the crowd would react to it, but they liked it. They popped pretty big for him.
Yeah.
Then as it winds down to the end, people were getting eliminated. Goes down to 2 people, Christian Cage and Jungle Boy.
Yes.
They have a great back and forth on the apron and in the ring, like teetering on going over the top rope.
Yeah.
And then Jungle Boy knocks him, did like a back body drop.
Yeah.
Sent Christian over and wins. So Jungle Boy has a shot at the title. After the match, Christian comes in looking like he was going to be pissed. Like came in fired up and then just gave him a hearty congratulations.
So cool.
To close it out.
And this is exactly like when Christian Cage came in, everyone was pissed off that he came into AEW and they're thinking he's going to take a bunch of spots from younger kids. And you can clearly see that Christian Cage gives a shit about this company. Like, he is putting people over. The only way I would have saw this match ending even better would be if we have like a 1995 Royal Rumble situation where they both fall off at the same time, and then the following week we just saw
do a one-on-one,
yeah, which would have been cool. But regardless, the end of the match was awesome. I'm warming up to Jungle Boy. I didn't really like him when he first came out, and now I'm getting more enticed by him.
He's great in the ring. His gimmick is just really weird.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, it's cool.
It's very 80s.
It fits his trio.
Yeah, which I don't like any of them either.
Yeah, I love Luchasaurus, man.
I freaking hate it. So, like, my only... I mean, for a Battle Royal, this was a good match. My one negative takeaway was Paul White, formerly known as The Big Show, on commentary.
No more BS.
He was awful.
Yeah, he was really bad.
So at one point, right towards the beginning of it, JR was like, this is a battle... Somebody went for a pinfall, I think, or did like a roll-up. And JR's like, this is a battle royal. Pinfalls are irrelevant. And then Big Show comes on, and submissions are irrelevant. And it's like, nobody was going, stop copying JR. And he like mimicked JR a couple times, which was annoying. And then he didn't get in the ring, so my prediction went flat.
Yes. Well, I think and I'll say this too, we fell flat on our ultimate desire of this card was to see Tama Tonga come out at some point. There were so many spots where it could have happened, and I'm so mad that it didn't.
Nothing from the Forbidden Door on this
Nothing, yeah. Well, I mean,
on this card.
Leo Rush, a little bit.
Yeah.
But he was a free agent, so he really can't. But then going back to what I tried to put ahead of this one.
You just want to rush right to the shit.
Yeah, man. Well, it's because this was, like I said prior to my extreme screw up, this is a match that I didn't have a lot of hype for, but I like Anthony Ogogo, and I do like Cody Rhodes, so I gave it a chance. So again, Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Ogogo.
Yeah, decent entrances for both guys. Cody enters with some interesting attire.
Yeah.
He looked like a cross between Homelander from The Boys, George Washington, and Captain Fuckface.
Yeah.
Like, he looked weird.
He looked really weird.
It looked like he stole it off of, like, Lady Gaga's tour bus for her 4th of July show or something.
Also,
it was really strange.
Did you feel that those pants were even tighter than he usually, like...
Yeah, I'm okay with that. But yeah, kind of a slow start, a little clunky. I do have to give it up for Ogogo though.
Yes.
Like, for this being like his 4th match, I think, in front of people, he held his own. Like, I know Cody laid out that match and probably put it all together and trained him on what to do, but he executed pretty well. I can't say there were any like botches. Like, he executed everything very well. It was just a big shift from all the matches we had just seen.
Yeah, it was. We were watching a lot of high-paced, high-energy stuff, and this started to break down almost into, like, at one point I felt like Cody Rhodes is like, I'm going to outbox the boxer.
Yeah, that was weird. He outstruck him at one point. And I was like,
that's not going to happen.
Ogogo hit a nice frog splash.
Yes, he did.
I was like, wow, that was
some
surprising.
height. Yeah. It's very RVD-esque.
Yeah. So, great stuff, but yeah, Cody survived the knockout punch finisher because he got knocked out, but his hand was under the bottom rope. So, kind of protected the finisher a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the end, Cody hits him with a vertebreaker, which I haven't seen in a long time since Homicide was hitting the Gringo Killer on people.
Yeah, baby. LAX, baby.
Yeah, and gets the win. I can't say it was a bad match. It was just, well, we'll get to what I might have thought was the worst match on the card. But it was just a kind of a normal wrestling match.
Yeah.
That probably would have been better on Dynamite, given Ogogo's newness and freshness.
Yeah.
I think it suffered from kind of a forced build. Like, America feuding with England kind of just fell flat too.
I didn't feel any like significant buy into it. I think that my intrigue was to see what Anthony Ogogo could do, because I'm always excited for young talent to get shots. So to see Anthony Ogogo get his opportunity to come through, I thought that was really cool. And I call me weird. It's a hill that I'll die on, but I love the liver shot. It reminds me of Crush. It reminds me of that heart punch.
Yeah.
It just kind of like
Who else had that? Oh, Maga had the thumb spike. Yeah.
I love those things. I don't know what it is about it.
Because it's a little bit of realism in theatrical pro wrestling.
I think too, you could hit it on anybody. Like Anthony Ogogo could hit it on big guys, small guys, announcers, like whoever, and he can throw it anytime.
Yeah, you can throw it and not hurt and it's safe. Like
it's perfect.
He's just like burying it in your gut, like lightly, but it looks like
great shot.
It looks great. Yeah.
His boxing really comes in handy when it comes to selling what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then the internet, of course, complained saying Cody buried Ogogo and ruined his push. But in defense of
you marks, do you think that Cody Rhodes is going to lose when he has his father's fucking nickname?
I mean, you picked Ogogo to win this.
I did, because I thought it'd be some cool heel stuff. But then, like, I also didn't go on Twitter like, this is fucking stupid.
But, like, to defend it, like, Ogogo still has a push. He was just halfway through the show on a major pay-per-view card with 4 matches in his pocket.
Yeah.
Like, that's his push.
That's incredible.
He got featured.
Yeah.
So, and didn't lose.
Yeah.
Like,
didn't lose really
lost
clean.
Strong. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that I think that it was cool because they showed Cody Rhodes being the smart mat technician by having his hand under the rope.
Right.
Because if that shot happens in the middle of the ring, Anthony Ogogo is the winner and England prevails. So, I mean, I like to see what happens next. I think this feud's ongoing still, which I don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, this one, Cody Rhodes, I get a lot of investment off the storytelling of it, and this whole feud with the Factory just isn't jiving with me. Like, him versus his Dustin was huge. Yeah. Him versus Chris Jericho was great. MJF was good. Like, this one's just not hitting the same feels for me.
Is it possible that we can finally see, though, a Cody Rhodes heel turn?
Nah. Maybe after the kid's born. They're not going to rush it before
I want it so
We're going to see an injury angle take him out here eventually, and the Factory will get that push up into the heel zone that the Pinnacle has now.
Yeah, I'd like to see, that'd be cool. See Factory get a push, and then Cody comes back as a heel and just starts annihilating him. That'd be fun.
That'd be cool.
Speaking of heels, we move into the next match here. Miro, the TNT champion, putting his belt on the line against the Murder Hawk, Lance Archer.
Probably the match I was most looking forward to.
Yes.
Not gonna lie.
It was in my top 2.
Big beefy Haas match. Right off the bat, Miro's coming out and Archer runs at him and dives and nearly necks himself.
Yes.
His foot caught the top rope and his head just and Miro barely caught him and sold it.
Great job on Miro's part.
Yeah, but I was like, oh no, please don't let this be a
this is it.
Yeah, this is foreshadowing, isn't it? So after they brawled a little bit, they went to the outside. Archer hit a nice spine buster on Miro through a table. They brawled into the crowd for a little bit. Miro was throwing him back and forth over the crowd rail.
Yeah. How strong is that guy, by the way?
Oh, it's insane.
It's like he looks. I mean, he's brawly. He's very broad, but damn, dude, Lance Archer's what, 325, 330?
Yeah.
And he's
just throwing him around.
Miro's just like, you go over here now. Major assist on repositioning Lance Archer's body against his desires.
Yeah, so after the intense brawling on the outside, it slows down a little bit in the ring. They hit some big slams and stuff still, but
that Haas battle.
Yeah, more of a Haas battle, like just some strikes and catching their breath after what they were doing. Jake the Snake runs down to run interference. Miro knocks him over with the lightest tap I've ever seen.
It was very polite.
Jake's dead in the corner. Miro grabs the bag with the snake in it.
This was cool.
And does his best impression of St. Patrick and just throws that snake down the tunnel.
So cool, man. He's like, we don't play with snakes in this one. Yeah. Bulgaria does not recognize this bullshit.
So after Miro throws the snake freaking 30 yards, which, don't worry, people, there wasn't really a snake in there. Yeah. You could clearly see it was probably Jake's dirty laundry.
Yes. Jake's like, this is the best way to air dry my laundry. Yeah. And Miro's like, I've got you, brother.
So that fires Archer up. He makes a big comeback, which gets stopped short. Miro hits him with a super kick, or his pump kick thing. Yeah. And then hits a modified game over, which is his camel clutch maneuver. Yeah. It kind of bends Archer all the way back, almost into a chokehold. And Archer passes out and loses. No
Yes.
tapping, so finishes strong. My opinion on the match is it was a little clunkier than I would like it, but you get that sometimes with two big guys.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are probably two of the biggest men in the Fed or in that organization.
I would definitely say, hands down, they're two of the biggest men, and they're two of the strongest men too.
Right. So it was a bit clunky, but not the clunkiest. By far, not the clunkiest big man match I've ever seen. So.
But I would say too, I really enjoyed the finish on this one. It sets up a rematch.
I was going to say they did well, and I'd love to see a rematch.
Yeah,
I'd like to see this go into and like eventually end with some sort of cool stipulation.
I quit.
That'd be cool.
I quit match.
I'd take that.
Yeah, I would too, man. Speaking of phenomenal matches, my match that I was most looking forward to is up next here. Hikaru Shida, who was the AEW Women's Champion. Spoiler alert. Going against the Pride of Pittsburgh, Britt Baker, DMD, for that Women's Championship. And let me tell you right now, Adam, I got to watch this out on my big projection screen.
Oh, nice.
And I popped for both of them when they came out.
Yeah, and so did the whole crowd.
Yes.
Baker got a huge reaction to the point where JR was asking how many people from Pittsburgh were in the crowd because she's supposed to be a heel.
Yeah.
But everybody just thought it was her time. And
everyone and we have listeners from Russia, Germany. Like, I just want you guys to know right now that Pittsburgh travels well. So we probably did take over Daly's place.
Maybe, probably a little bit. Yeah. Although when they announced her and said from Pittsburgh, PA, not a huge pop. No. Not as big as when she was coming out.
That's true.
So I think it was just
the love of her.
The love, yeah.
Yeah.
Shida also on her entrance.
Yes.
Complete, like the crowd was very respectful. Gave her a great applause. She got emotional on the ramp, and it was awesome to see. It was awesome to see her at least be the champion for the first crowd show back.
Absolutely.
And I think she appreciated that too. Great striking back and forth at the beginning, really fast paced. Shida was hitting Britt with a lot of stuff. Britt was also dodging a lot of stuff. Really good,
very good,
fast, smooth work in the beginning of this.
It's not what I was expecting. I thought at first they were going to kind of like feel each other out, but you're right. It went straight to fifth gear.
Yeah.
Right off the rip.
Yeah. Shida does a nice dive off the turnbuckle onto Britt and Reba Not Rebel on the outside, which was very nice.
Yeah.
Britt hits when they roll back in, Britt hits like this modified curb stomp, which is awesome.
So cool.
And pulls out her custom glove for the lockjaw.
Matches her ring attire too.
Yeah, and then from there, it got like really stiff from there.
Yeah.
And like a lot of good near falls. They had me kind of
you guessing.
Buying it a few times, like it's over. But out of nowhere, like Shida had hit her finisher and like pinned Britt, and Britt kicked out at 2, and Shida like leaned up disappointed, and Britt just reached around and put her in the lockjaw, and that was it.
Yeah.
Britt Baker, DMD, wins it. New title. On her way out, she gets a big hug from Uncle Tony Schiavone.
Oh, yeah.
Really cool. Really great match.
It could be Uncle Tony Schiavone, too, man, because his crush on Reba Not Rebel is
strong.
Is strong, man. I think that Tony Schiavone might quite literally have to buy new cell phones every time Reba puts a post up on Twitter.
Smashing that like button.
Bam, 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 I love you. But we love Tony Schiavone. His podcast is incredible, too. I love this match. I love Hikaru Shida. I love Britt Baker, and I can see these two colliding in the future for something else. Maybe if they're not even, going for a championship, but the chemistry between these two was just phenomenal. This is the match that I've watched 2 and 3 times because it was that good for me. Loved it. Fantastic. Great job to both of them. And of course, so much respect to Hikaru Shida for carrying that belt through the entire pandemic,
right,
and defending it against some of the most talented people across the nation.
Everybody they could fly in, she defended it.
She's like, I'll fight them. I'll go to Japan. She went to Japan for that women's eliminator match and wrestled out there too. So
yeah, none of them were boring either. Like all of her matches were
fantastic. Exciting. That Tamashi, man, when she hits that thing, I pop, man. So. Moving on to the card here, we see Darby Allin and Sting taking on All Ego Ethan Page and the face of the Revolution, Scorpio Sky.
Yeah, that's forgotten about.
Yeah. I like to say it still because I'm afraid that if Scorpio Sky's heel persona hears me talking shit, he's going to come over and beat the crap out of me.
Well, and if you forget, everybody forgets, Matt, so don't forget.
Don't forget.
But yeah, I mean, I'll sound like an echo. Great entrances, great reaction for all 4 men. Right at the beginning, brawl to the outside. Everybody kind of clears the ring and goes in their separate directions. Sting and Scorpio Sky go up the ramp. kind of striking back and forth.
I was scared.
And then Scorpio Sky hits a vertical suplex on Sting on the ramp.
Yes.
And I was like, well, that's it for Sting in this match.
Yeah, Darby Allin's going to get his ass beat by 2 people now.
Yeah. But no, Sting does classic Sting, vintage Sting.
So cool.
And pops right back up and walks up behind Scorpio Sky, scares the crap out of him, throws him off the stage, and then dives from the stage to the floor on Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. It was amazing. I was like, this man's, he's early 60s.
Yeah, 62,
Crazy.
I think. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, put on a... Oh, God. Yeah, I was terrified for the slam, and I was super terrified when he took the dive.
Yeah.
But wow, man.
After that, Darby takes a huge bump into the crowd from Ethan Page. That looked awesome.
Dude, how about that throw, by the way? I think I said in the last episode, Ethan Page looked jacked, and to throw Darby Allin, because there's not much Darby can do to propel himself, because it's a
a little hop, but you still got to send him out. Yeah.
And he threw him right at Darby's brother.
Yeah.
Family reunion, baby. As JR, it's a goddamn family reunion.
So then, probably I don't know if anybody would even notice this, but they all get in the ring. The actual tag match starts.
Yeah.
And Sting keeps throwing men into turnbuckles and then not doing the Stinger Splash for 8 minutes.
Yes.
And I was like, can he not do it? He can do a vertical suplex on the ramp, but he can't hit a splash in the corners. But we got our Stinger Splashes. He does quite a few of them.
Yes.
After one, he does what the announcers called a code red, but it looked like a slug red. He was real slow. I mean, very impressive he can do it.
Yeah.
But you could tell it was all, I think it was Ethan Page he hit it on.
Yes, he did.
But it was definitely the other man working with him to get it done.
It looked like a sunset flip almost,
Yeah.
but there was enough of a... Yeah, Ethan Page sold the slam.
It looked more awkward than when John Cena was doing it.
Oh,
towards the end of
God.
his
Why was...
run?
You know what?
Where he would do the triple pump and then go.
Yeah, which it's like watching Charles Barkley's backswing when he's golfing. I never bought into it, but yeah, good on Sting though, man. Throwing the sludge red.
Yeah,
we'll rename the sludge red.
Then there was a double submission spot where Darby and Ethan were facing each other in submissions
match.
and just slapping each other and eye gouging. I mean, kind of cheesy but funny.
Yeah.
I liked it. Then Sting reverses Scorpio Sky's finish and hits it right into the Scorpion Death Drop and gets the pinfall.
Wow.
Sting, the man who we said was going to take the fall, gets the fall.
Yeah.
And the faces take this one.
I almost can't believe that they did, because I thought this is where they would sever this rivalry with a heel win and allow Darby and Sting to kind of separate a little bit.
Isn't that the biggest problem? Now this feud continues,
yes.
Which I don't want.
I don't want it either. But I don't know, though.
Unless it just rolls into his singles with Darby and
I think it will.
Sky or Darby and Ethan Page. I don't care.
Yeah.
But then I don't know what you do with Sting or with the other guy.
Well, I can tell you right now, on AEW Dynamite last night, Darby and Sting were accosted by Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, and Scorpio and Page wanted a rematch, but they said, Darby, it's you and anybody else that's not Sting.
Oh, okay.
So this could be an opportunity too to see someone come through and be on Darby's side.
Maybe Leo Rush.
Maybe, and we'll get into this later, some other people that could possibly
showed up. Yeah, any updates you got from Dynamite last night, please
Yeah.
fill in, because I have not watched it.
Your Penta drip came right back out, match one, and it was
he wore the same drip.
Same
Nice.
drip.
Well, I'll definitely check this out tonight.
Yeah. So then we're moving on to one of the two main events of the night. It's the triple threat match: Omega versus Pac. Pac versus, I say Pac all the time. I'm remembering X-Pac.
Pac.
It's Pac, and the Master of Sloth Style, Orange Cassidy, for the AEW Championship.
Yeah, I mean, a lot to summarize in this one, so I will just do it justice by saying they opened with great transitions between the three men to get one-on-one matchups.
Yeah.
And then work those one-on-one matchups super smoothly. Just some high points. Omega hit an awesome-looking Sparta kick to Pac and sent him all the way to the corner.
So cool.
Which was cool of both men to sell it. My favorite thing Pac did was he hit a 450 on both guys when they were bridged up after a pin.
That was so cool.
That was really creative. And my favorite part of the match was Pac hit Omega with a Falcon Arrow off the top.
Yeah.
Orange comes in, knocks Pac out of the ring, goes for the pinfall. I thought it was over. The whole crowd thought it was over.
Yep.
Everybody bit. It was so believable, especially in a match where everybody knows Kenny's winning.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody bit. Orange might take this thing,
including me.
Yeah, the super underdog, and same with me.
I
was
quite
like,
literally
are they really going to do this?
Yeah, I was quite literally watching this out on my screen and going, "There's no fucking way." But kudos to AEW for making it feel like literally anybody could win that match.
Yeah. Orange Cassidy then hit a beach break, which is his finisher, and the orange punch to Kenny. Another really close near fall, where they even had Don Callis on commentary yelling, shit.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't supposed to happen. But at the end, Omega gets the upper hand, I think he hit Pac with all 4 belts, or maybe traded between the two guys.
Just kept sliding in. Yeah.
Which was a cheesy spot. I mean, I'm not going to go too hard on Omega. This is just a recap. But, eventually, I'll make my opinions known.
There'll be a day.
Orange with one final really close false finish.
Yeah.
Sits up, and Omega just rolls him up, and the finish came out of nowhere.
It was
the finish was very flat for me, though.
Yeah.
Like,
I loved it.
It was just too out of nowhere.
That's why I liked it, because it gave such injustice to both Cassidy and Pac for all the hard work they're putting in. Omega's like, oh, great job and everything, but I'm just going to roll you up in a crucifix real quick. And just
and it's over.
Yeah. And then he celebrated like he just hit like a avalanche one-winged angel. All he did was like a little roll-up.
Which they teased.
Yeah. Why couldn't they hit that spot? That would have been so cool.
I mean, I think we would have never seen Pac again.
No.
Oh, Pac. Damn it. No, I did.
I'm saying, dude, it's hard not to do it. My nostalgia is kicking in sometimes.
But I mean, good match. A little too theatrical from Omega for me. But again, I will save my opinions for a later show where I can really dive into it.
There will be a day, Adam.
All around a great match.
Yes. So to break up the main events of the evening, great announcement came during this card that the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, will be on the AEW payroll now. It sounds like he's going to do some color commentary, and he's also going to be a coach.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have another show now too.
Yeah, they were calling him the Analyst. It'll be for their second show that I think will be on Friday night, called Rampage.
Yeah. And that's incredible.
I think this fall, like August timeframe, I think.
Yeah.
Starting that.
Yeah, it's right. I think it's the beginning of August. And it's all that, like, they're moving to TBS. They're getting a different deal because TNT got the NHL deal, so that and Wayne Gretzky has to be announcer for that. It's pretty cool. But sorry, diverting from wrestling. But Mark Henry is All Elite, and it's really cool to see him come in because he was one of my favorites whenever I was growing up. I thought that he was a fantastic wrestler, and he sold serious roles and he sold comedic roles.
He was great at the comedy.
Sexual chocolate, baby. Thank you, Mark Henry, for coming over to AEW. And my understanding is that the conversation he had with Vince McMahon was actually very, very well.
Good.
He told Vince, like, I think something underneath of you is holding me back, and I want to go somewhere where I can be utilized. And Vince McMahon just said, hey, listen, you know everything you need to know. You know everything. Go be successful. I know you will be.
Very cool. Similar to what happened with Big Show, from what I understand.
Yeah, go be successful. And that's, we make fun of Vince McMahon a lot, but there are some times where he makes you feel good about some of the
decisions. Why is he just going to hold you under his thumb if he's not going to use you? So, good job, all parties. And great job, AEW, taking another WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Who looks like he might step in the ring. Like, he looks great.
Good, yeah. Speaking of looking good, I wanted to see this match so bad because the first Stadium Stampede was really good, but we knew that there wouldn't be as much comedy in this one. But the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle in a Stadium Stampede. This is the second Stadium Stampede in AEW history, with the first one seeing the Elite taking on the Inner Circle, and the Inner Circle bringing back their skills, knowledge, and experience to take on the Pinnacle in this one.
So, not spoiling anything, but I could not watch this match again because it was just so long.
It is very long.
So, I have bullet points, and then we can just fill in what our favorite parts were that I missed. So, great part of the match, the Inner Circle repels off the scoreboard of the Jaguar Stadium.
Great job with that. It's a cool entrance.
Yeah, very cool. Everybody kind of pairs off. So Jericho and MJF brawled through the office space of the stadium.
Yeah.
And fought through the cafeteria and then into Urban Meyer's office, where he made a cameo and passed him a helmet, passed Jericho a helmet and his laptop to slam over MJF.
So good.
Pretty cool.
That'll be the best thing that Urban Meyer does in Jacksonville, by the way.
I guarantee it. Wardlow and Hager, the two big men, paired off. They fought through a walk-in freezer, which was well stocked for it not being football not being in season right now.
Yeah, they're either feeding ghosts or they're feeding football players.
They're just feeding the players real well.
Yeah, they are. Good Lord.
And then they went through a fake wall that looked better than the fake stage. It was at least drywall. But it was just drywall.
When it fell down, you're kind of like, that didn't need to be there. There's like a sink behind it or something.
Santana.
Are you talking about Santina Morella?
No, he was not in this. Thank God.
He comes in and hits the snake, the Cobra Strike.
Santana, the old guy that plays guitar. Him and Ortiz paired off with the FTR and Tully and fought into a nightclub that's at the stadium.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Brawled with like some innocent bystanders, took a shot together, and just had a brawl. Best part about that was Conan, old K-Dog, showed up and took Tully out, which is a lot of fun.
The quick reunification of LAX for a hot second. Yeah. Impact for life, baby.
Just to get talks going.
Oh, yeah.
And then Guevara and Spears paired off and fought in like this cool chair room that they did like some dramatic.
Awesome.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah,
like
I
just
loved it.
The Warriors type thing, like it was pretty cool, pretty theatrical. I liked it though. And they also got the finish. They ended up getting back to the live show. They went from the pre-recorded Stadium Stampede and made it look like they came in live. Guevara hits a beautiful 630 splash to finish Spears off.
Yeah, man.
And then the rest of the inner circle came out and had a celebration and threw the bird at the camera to get
perfect match. I mean, they're theatrical, yes, and I get that, and they can cover some things up, so you didn't see botches in that, but I didn't see any botches in the live stuff either, which was good. Right. I mean, it was preserved all the way through, and you had enough fan service. Like, when Conan was the DJ, I popped. I was like, is that fucking Conan? And when he came down and he's just like, go get him on today, I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. I miss Conan, man. He's fantastic.
I agree, it was good. I thought it was a little more comedy than I was expecting. Yeah. It was kind of like the first one. Not as comedic, but still had a lot of comedy in it. Two takeaways I have in the negative category was I wanted a little more stadium in my Stadium Stampede. Yeah. Like they all started there and just kind of like split off into...
quickly spread out,
So I was like, that was kind of a bummer. And then the finish, I wish like both teams were in there and at least fighting around ringside. Like you never saw the Pinnacle members during the live thing except for Sean Spears.
Yeah.
Like, and MJF got thrown through a table earlier in the match. So besides those two kind of mild points, I thought it was a great match too.
So the only one I'm going to disagree with you on is the second point you made about having more people around for the finish, because I think that the finish was the best way they could have done it, because I was thinking the entire time it was Jericho and MJF that were going to finish this thing, and then they let Sammy Guevara and Sean Spears have the finish.
I do like who got the finish. Yeah. And it gives Guevara some build into the next thing. And he was the one that took the pin in the first one, Stampede. So
and he got hit by a fucking golf cart
a couple times.
But good on him. That 630 splash is something to behold. Sammy is quite a wrestler, and I'm glad to see him get the pin on this one. And but I'll tell you this though, this feud is not over, Adam, because last night Wardlow and Hager are going to enter into an MMA style cage match.
Oh no.
Chris Jericho vowed to once and for all vanquish MJF, and I believe at some point FTR is going to collide with.
So they're all just splitting off into like singles or
matches.
Yeah, I like that.
Which is cool. So Adam,
except that MMA style match.
That could be cool though.
But it is a pro MMA fighter who barely can do it versus a guy that
I don't know about that, man. I think
he sucks.
Okay, sucks compared to who? The people we saw like dominate the world?
No, compared to the people we fight. They give him like soup cans every match. And then the one match he was almost losing, he punched a guy in the balls to get out of the match.
And he won.
He did win by decision. But he had to punch the guy. He blatantly punched him in the balls.
What would you do?
When he was in trouble.
What would you do?
He's a heel in MMA.
He's a heel in MMA. He got there. He's like, we the people.
I hate that guy. Oh, he's my least favorite in both factions.
So speaking of this card and its entirety, Adam, what is your match of the night?
Can I cheat a little bit?
Of course.
I kind of have two.
Okay.
I would say my top spot is the women's match. Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker is solidly my number one, but I have to give honorable mention to the Moxley Kingston Young Bucks tag match.
Yes.
That was my favorite until the finish of the women's match.
Yes.
Even with all the ref being non-existent. I mean, Kingston's in it, so he's my favorite wrestler.
Right.
I mean, and everybody did great.
Yeah.
And I was like really excited to watch it.
Yeah.
So.
I would agree with you on the women's match. That is my match of the night. I think, too, that a close second for me is going to be the triple threat match. Omega, Pac, and Orange Cassidy. I thought they did a great job of not making it feel like, it's the common script. Eliminate one so two can go at it, and then that third person comes back. I didn't feel like that routine shuffle was happening. They made it feel more organic.
Yeah, it happened at the beginning, but it wasn't obvious.
Yeah. Cassidy took a hard, stiff hit, and it was very feasible to think, he could have been hurt if that was a real thing.
Right.
So who is your wrestler of the card?
I'll let you go first.
You let me go first?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go with Hikaru Shida
on
this one. I think that she went into this knowing she had to give up a prized possession. She carried that belt for so long. She was emotional at the pop when she came out. She wrestled a hell of a match, hit all of her spots, no botches, and then ceremoniously gave that belt to Britt Baker, because I think at this point, Hikaru, she beat everybody she needed to right now to be cemented as one of the top female performers. But she also knew that for this women's division to grow, she had to give that belt to somebody else, and who better than Britt Baker right now?
Who better than Canyon?
Yep, nobody.
So
who better? Nobody.
So my top wrestler of the evening was Sting!
Oh, nice.
I know it's kind of a weird choice, but for that 62-year-old man to do what he did on this card,
hell yeah, man,
look pretty good. Aside from the sludge red, it was amazing. So yeah, Sting, you get my props. I hope I only see you in the ring once or twice a year, but good first showing.
And I think that's what they're working towards too, because the whole thing we'll wrestle you with anybody but Sting. I think you have to give that guy breaks.
Yes.
And he's a great manager. He kind of reminds me, to dip into the horror side of things, he reminds me of Michael Myers. He can say so much with the nothing on his face. I mean, he expresses so much, so it'd be cool to see him take that managerial role too. And he's coaching Darby Allin. I think Darby Allin's wrestling has only improved since Sting has come on to be by his side. So last question I have for you here, buddy. What's the weakest match of the night, or I like to call it the pee break match?
Yeah, I call it the piss break.
Yeah.
So my piss break. Sorry, I mean, one of my favorite in-ring guys, but not tonight. Cody Rhodes and Anthony Ogogo.
Couldn't agree more. That was a match where it started happening, and I restoked the fire in my fire pit. I did come back, and I rewatched it too, just to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I wasn't upset with myself that I didn't put all my focus.
I did miss some good stuff by Ogogo when I was grabbing some beers. I mean, I think I didn't literally not watch it. I think I was gone for 3 minutes.
Same. Yeah. But I rewatched it again just to make sure. The spots that I missed, I went back and watched it. So thank you guys so much for listening to our take on AEW Double or Nothing. We hope that it brings about some new cool matches and rivalries. But for right now, we're going to take a quick break for you to hear some ads. And hopefully you hear something you like, because you can support us by supporting them so we can bring you cool stuff. So we'll be right back. Thanks. Hey guys, I think we're all sitting here with partners, women in our lives that would kind of appreciate it if we groomed up a little bit. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I do too. And I'm lucky enough to have been in touch with a company called Smooth My Balls, and they want to make sure that we bring our listeners what they have to offer. So right now, they offer the Turf Chopper 3.0 with skin-safe technology, so when you are trimming your sack, you don't mess up and bring a messed up chia pet to a magic party, if you know what I'm saying.
You got to bring your A game to the battlefield, guys.
Always. And the other thing, too, I don't know about you guys, but I often get talked to about having all the hair left in the sink. That's when the Pube Muncher 1.0 comes in. It's a little vacuum, sucks it all up, and grinds up all the hairs, and you can throw away a little easier. That way you can avoid a conversation later, and you can stay groomed.
Always important.
Always important. And right now, all of our listeners can save 15% on their order.
How can they do that?
I'm glad you asked, Josh. They can go to smoothmyballs.com/DTB DWTB and save 15% on their entire order right now. That's smoothmyballs.com/DWTB. And don't forget to look at some of the other products they have, like the sack mat, like the sack vacuum, like the ball freshening powder, and everything else. It's all there for you. smoothmyballs.com/DWTB for 15% off your order right now.
Please them ladies.
The one-stop shop for men's grooming.
That's right. Welcome back. Hopefully you heard something that you like and you can check it out. If you need any more information about those products, let us know at Decaying WTB on all social media. But I'm here to bring some news that has shocked the wrestling world. There have been multiple releases from WWE. Some of them are just complete surprises right now. I won't say I'm beside myself because I don't want to invest myself that much, but some of these are just very surprising, dude. I don't really know what they're thinking.
Yeah. I'm not going to oversell it saying I'm beside myself either,
Yeah.
but I am real sad about one of them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we'll start off with the heavy hitter here. Braun Strowman, he was released after featuring in WrestleMania against Shane McMahon and competing in WrestleMania Backlash, a lot of WrestleManias here, for the WWE Championship, where again, as we all knew, he would take the fall, and he did. Rumors indicated that Braun's contract, which was given to him to prevent him from being picked up in free agency, was worth up to and possibly exceeding $1 million, which made him a financial liability to the company.
Yeah, it just seemed like they were freeing up some finances, which is weird because I think they're, even with the pandemic, like reporting record profits.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
And they're not touring, so they got to be saving money there. Although losing money from ticket sales, I guess, a little bit.
Maybe.
But with how Raw is now, they probably wouldn't sell that many tickets. Like,
no, man, that listenership is going down, and I can only tell you right now, losing these superstars that we're going to go through, I think that the Red brand is really going to continue to lose viewership.
Yeah. This is the one that did not upset me. Oh, I mean, I'm not happy about it either.
Yeah.
But Braun was really cool, had a lot of potential, and they
squandered it.
And now I just didn't care about him for like the last year and a half.
And that's nothing against him.
No.
It's just like there's no development. And every time they developed him, like, who wants to see anyone fight Shane McMahon?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, nobody.
Especially your monster.
Yeah.
And now they got Amos for like a fraction of the price, and
Yeah.
he's 6 inches taller. So.
Right. And
Bye, Braun.
yeah, also, too, can't wait to see how they break up AJ Styles and Amos like that, because that'll happen.
Yeah, they're going to push that guy as a single star for sure.
Yeah.
Until he gets the great Kali knees and can't wrestle anymore.
He goes all flamingo.
Yeah, the ostrich legs.
So the one here that makes me kind of sad, more sad than the other ones, is Aleister Black being released after being written into what could have been a just incredible feud with Big E and having his character reworked as the Dark Father. He even had a new shirt up on WWE.com for pre-sale as well. It is rumored that creative was basically told to fuck off with pitching ideas about Aleister Black with little to no explanation. And this is also very crazy because this is a Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah, this one's the one that kind of hurt. Also crazy because there have been talks over the last 2 weeks about his wife being brought back into the company.
Yeah.
So I didn't see this one coming at all.
No.
This is the one that kind of upsets me. I did see a report this morning that Vince McMahon didn't quite get his and another gentleman who's coming soon on the list. Just didn't get their in-ring style. Like, just didn't jive with them for whatever reason.
Oh, I mean, they were too cool?
Yeah, it's like strike. It's strike heavy, and it's looks good. I don't get it.
Do you want to know who I compare it to? CM Punk.
Yeah.
It was a very CM Punk-esque wrestling style, but it had more of a darker tone to it. He, to me, was Undertaker light. He had the same like dark persona,
and he could have been Undertaker full flavor, even with no filters. Maybe if you just
you're taking it back to Green County with us, buddy.
If you just let him go, man.
Yeah.
And this Dark Father character looked great.
Yeah, and I can't wait to play fantasy booking here in a minute with this one because I have a great idea for him. So another person here who actually this one was hard for me because I felt like this was such a disingenuous release. Lana. She's been tossed around in more storylines in the past 2 years than anybody else. She's a mid-carder, but she's scrappy. She works hard. She constantly is working on herself. She has been featured as her husband in real life, Miro, formerly known as Rusev's manager, Bobby Lashley's love interest, and part of one of the funnest tag teams to watch alongside Naomi, who needs to embrace the glow. It's clear that they had no idea how to use one of the hardest working female talents, and they allowed her to be put through tables for almost 2 months with no fucking payoff. Yeah. Which that part to me makes me the most upset, because all they did was have Nia Jax just kept slamming her through announcer tables.
Yeah, I don't really feel one way or the other about Lana, but she was very hardworking and just big letdown. I mean, they just completely didn't even misuse her, just mistreated her.
They quite literally
after
took a shit
her husband
on her.
left. Yeah. So I feel bad for how they treated her, but this one wasn't that big of a surprise to me.
But also, she's embracing it. On Twitter, she finally had to put out there, today, for no particular reason whatsoever, I want to congratulate my husband Miro for being the TNT Championship at AEW. So, speaking of people who weren't used very well, Mr. Bud Murphy, who was just being called Murphy at the time, he's notably one of the most favorable talents in the locker room. He's known as one of the safest workers in the game, but he fell victim to the impossible storyline as a disciple of Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins he's a spotlight just fiend. Like, he takes it, but he's, for good reason, he's a fantastic wrestler. But it's clear that he's extremely talented in the ring, but he's also great at selling his lines when he has opportunity to have the microphone. He was last seen engaged in a storyline as the paramour of Rey Mysterio's wonderfully beautiful daughter, Aaliyah.
Yeah, and they just dropped that out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And dropped him now.
Yeah.
This one is also disappointing. I really liked his in-ring work. I thought he was getting better on the mic. He was great as the right-hand man for Seth. And just then they had nothing for him for months. He's been on main event, I think.
Which is a travesty for someone like Murphy, because you can clearly see, if I don't want to be that guy, but I've been watching this since I was a little kid, and knowing bad in-ring workers from good in-ring workers, but seeing how they work, you can clearly see that Murphy takes the time to know the person he's working with, and they put on a good show, and he's extremely safe. I've seen him capture botched moves mid-air to make them safe and save his opponent.
Yep.
Fantastic. He's going to be great anywhere. I think you're going to see him in New Japan.
Hey, we're not booking yet.
Sorry. I'm not going to edit that, but...
Hey, we're not booking yet.
Murphy to New Japan.
But yeah, I mean, sorry to see him go. I mean, he did make a tweet, I guess, saying, not really bad-mouthing the company, but also saying the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
And I believe it.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it for sure. He's very classy, because a lot of these wrestlers could have really sounded off on this, because a lot of it came out of nowhere, especially Braun Strowman. Like, he talked about, like, he put up something on Twitter where he's like, I'm so happy to see live fans come back. And that same week, they're like, yeah, fuck off. And they cut him.
You can be with them in the crowd.
Yeah, you can buy a ticket now. Speaking of buying tickets to come to shows, Ms. Heidi Lovelace, more well-known as Ruby Riott, she's arguably one of the most well-liked talents in the locker room, has been cut. She never got the true push that I believe she deserved. She's a great in-ring worker. I actually put in my notes here that she should have been given a volcanic push. I think that she carried the Riot Squad with sound in-ring work. Her mic skills are a little, subpar, but nothing that would make me not want to listen to her. But she falls into the same lane as the Poor Iconics, a skilled tag team that got a big push, got separated for no reason, and now they're both looking for work. Hopefully they find something, and I hope that Heidi Lovelace, also known as Ruby Riott, finds a home, because she deserves it.
Yeah, whoever scoops her up will be lucky to have her.
Yeah.
Another injustice here, and a girl I really have a crush on. So
yeah.
I hope to see her on TV after the 90 days are up.
Yeah. Well, that's also too. I don't know how many of these guys have 90-day no competes.
I think they
all do.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I think Andrade was a rare case where he negotiated that as part of his release.
Smart man. And last but certainly not least, Ms. Santana Garrett. She was being told that she was going to premiere on this past Friday's SmackDown, only to be terminated earlier in the week. We last saw her as a premier talent on NXT, who had a brief introduction to the big league during the Women's Royal Rumble, and she was set to become the next great contender to only have the rug pulled out from underneath her.
don't remember her from anything. Well,
It's tough.
I bet you if I saw her in a match,
Yeah.
I would. But like just seeing her, like
Yeah.
headshot that they released with the press release, like I was like, I don't know who that is.
She did a really good job in NXT where she was starting to like tickle the top of everything. Like she was,
I like when you tickle the top.
yeah, I like it. She was doing that. She was cresting into a lot of contender matches.
Okay.
I mean, she was getting beat, but she was like putting up. She kind of reminds me of Orange Cassidy.
Was
like,
she paired with the woman that's the champion down there now?
Yeah.
For a while? Okay, I do remember.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Santana has fantastic in-ring skills. Like she's also going to be another phenomenal talent, wherever she decides to go. And speaking of deciding where to go, Adam, let's play dream destinations for these free agents. Even though I already took one, Murphy to New Japan confirmed. Mud Murphy going to New Japan. So, Adam, let's play with this real quick.
Sure.
Let's see here. I'll throw out a name and you let me know where they're going to go, okay?
Sure.
How about Ruby Riott?
I would like to see her in AEW.
I think that's a great spot for her too, because that women's division still needs some key pieces, and she could be a great addition.
I was between that and Impact, but I watch
Yeah.
AEW more, and I'd
Yeah.
like to see her on TV.
Well,
So
also, I think the Impact women's roster is one of the strongest rosters.
that's why I was between those two. But I think she could elevate the AEW one
think
even
so,
more.
too.
It's on its way up now.
Yeah. I could say that. I don't see her going overseas to New Japan. I could see her in something like Beyond Wrestling. I think she could do really well down there too, or CZW. But I think for her, AEW would be a great signing because I think she could be a good coach, and I think she could be a great talent on TV too. How about Aleister Black?
I don't want to say AEW for everybody, but I wouldn't be mad if he was there. But I think you'll see him go to New Japan.
I think you will too. I think realistically you see New Japan because they let you kind of do, much like AEW, you can do whatever you want.
And his strike heavy style would be so good in
Pairs very well because they're very engaged with the open hand palm strikes and stuff, and that's Aleister Black has that hybrid Muay Thai approach.
Right.
You know what I like? Fantasy though? Dark Order.
Okay.
Dark Order.
I was going to go Aleister Black to UFC confirmed.
No, he would definitely go the CM Punk route. Then I think he gets his head kicked in. But I think Aleister Black, I could see him bringing the Dark Father persona, tweaking it, and kind of being a welcome successor to Brody Lee. He wouldn't be a replacement, but I think he could take the Dark Order back towards the heel side of things.
I was going to say you have to start weaning them into a more serious role,
Yeah,
because they're 100% comedy at the moment.
Right, and I think if you could see him coming in at the same time that Anna Jay comes back from her injury and surgery, and bringing that all together and making them vicious again, and then finally like putting them against the Pinnacle. You know what I mean? That would be a cool storyline. But realistically, that's just me being fantasy booker. New Japan seems to be the best place for him. How about Murphy's already going to Japan, so we don't need to cover that one. I'm going to be right.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. If they don't have something for him for some reason, I could see him going to Impact. But
Impact would be a great place for him too. Yeah. Speaking of Impact, because this is my guess for him, Braun Strowman.
Nah, man. I think it's why I didn't say Aleister Black to AEW. I think Braun Strowman's going to AEW.
You think?
They need a big man. They need a big hoss.
Big old hoss.
I mean, I don't know. I'd have to see him side by side, but I think he would make Archer look small.
He would.
Yeah. So I'm like, you have the biggest like you have your modern day Big Show right here.
He's right there, and he's so fucking strong. Here's my pitch to you. So let's say you're Impact head office right now, and I'm going to look you dead in your eyes and say, you have Morrissey right now. He's the anti-corporate guy. He's talking to you about how much there's bullshit in this company that no one can be trusted. Who better to pair with him as a big man than Braun Strowman to come in and say, yeah, this company is bullshit. Let's take this place over.
That's pretty cool.
And it could be like the new age, like Bludgeon Brothers kind of thing, like just two big.
They're going to shop at Hot Topic?
They are. They're going to have all kinds of spiky jewelry. But I'd love to see.
You know who I'd like to see him against in TNA?
Yeah.
Or Impact. It's not Impact.
Same thing.
Moose.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool. Yeah. if we're fantasy booking it, I mean, Grant, and I'll say this too before we move on to the next thing here. Good luck to all of these wrestlers.
Yeah.
All these wrestlers, despite the fact where they were in the card, they're all very skilled.
Wait, we're not going to say where Lana's going?
Lana's going through tables.
No, she's going to be next to Miro in 3 months.
Yeah, I think so too. She's definitely going to go there.
I don't see anything else for her, sadly.
No, I don't either. I think Santana Garrett is going to go on the indie route. I think she's going to be an indie star for a while.
I think you'll eventually see her pop up in AEW or Impact at some point.
I think she's going to get some dark matches all over the place, and she'll pop up. And I'm very excited to see what all these wrestlers can do. You don't get into the most premier. Because let's not argue that. Can we just say WWE and subsequently NXT is the pinnacle of wrestling? So when you get there, you can't be a slouch. So these are all very skilled wrestlers, and also too, we don't subscribe to you're picking up WWE's trash. These are performers, these are employees. Where they go, I'm going to celebrate them.
And these were highly skilled. I mean, the majority of these people were highly skilled and should be highly sought after.
Absolutely. And I wish them nothing but the best. But speaking of significant signings,
I was going to say I have a question for you.
Yeah,
where'd you see Andrade go?
Well, first I saw him going to Nacion Luchador, but now, as of last night, Vicky Guerrero, escúchame, brought out one of my favorite wrestlers, Andrade. He came out, cut a 2-minute promo, nothing crazy. I wanted to be the face of the Luchadors, but now I'm going to be the face of AEW.
Yep.
Looking sharper than a freshly pressed tack, confidence on the mic, looking in great shape. He just got done suplexing Ric Flair into the pool.
I was just going to bring that up. That was incredible.
Awesome. And Ric Flair selling it in the pool was cool too. Oh my God. Andrade signing with AEW is the coolest thing that could have happened post-pandemic wrestling, because you already have him in AAA, and he wants to fight Kenny Omega for the AAA belt.
Right.
But now I think this puts him into the running for the AEW belt.
I was just going to pose that question to you.
Yeah.
No joke. I was going to say, so what title is he going for?
I think, you know what?
Because you got it. I mean, I am not usually for bringing the new guy, put him
but this is
with
it.
the champion, but this is the one you do.
This is it. I think
until CM Punk shows up.
And
I think next week.
Yeah, next week. Well, I'll tell you what, man, the rumors are flying right now for All Out in Chicago. I mean,
oh yeah,
it is flying around right now. And of course, I think every AEW card there's some kind of rumor for CM Punk, but I think this one has more of a substance bout to it because it's in Chicago, and there just feels like there's a gap in the roster. Right now, there's just that over the top talent. But Andrade really scratches that itch, man. I think you're going to see Andrade do some really cool stuff, and I think you're going to see him take on Kenny Omega for the AEW Championship, but I think you're going to see it after he beats Omega for the AAA Championship. He's going to do I took one belt for you, bro. I take another one.
Yeah. I like that build. Sadly, though, that's going to push Hangman's title back maybe to Full Gear, but that's fine.
Well, I think too we can push it to Full Gear, but I think what better way to do this too? Andrade can win the AAA championship and then lose in the AEW championship. But I tell you, the one thing I don't want to see happen here, I don't want to see another triple threat match I don't want to see Andrade, Page, and Omega in a triple threat.
No. Those both need to be just.
They
singles,
deserve singles. Matches, yeah, and the cool thing about AAA too, if people who don't know this, if you don't watch AAA, it's free on YouTube.
Right.
It's always free on YouTube. So I can't remember the date. I think it's August, early August. Yeah, it's in August. Okay, yeah. So check it out. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be an incredible card, but it's going to be highlighted by Andrade going against Omega.
So just to close up this little the layoffs and the movement and everything. And we brought up CM Punk. So I vigorously searched for his tweet he released about these layoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see it yet? I can read it real quick.
Oh, yeah. Adam, if you didn't see, I posted it.
Oh, son of a bitch.
On our social media.
Well, nope, I didn't. I'm a bad. Never mind. I got scooped. Anyway, it was good. Go check out our social media and read it for yourself.
Check us out at Dwtb.
Oh, man, I got scooped again.
I got scooped.
Somebody's been drinking a couple too many beers.
I say, someone was working last night, someone was drinking. But
did you just post it last night?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely didn't see it.
So without being so accurate to it, he said WWE's like a movie with a blockbuster budget and a blockbuster set of talent, but it's written by a bunch of nincompoops. But people will still watch it because people love movies.
Because it's a movie.
Yeah. And I can't agree with that more. That's a perfect way to say it. I mean, WWE is kind of one of those things where it's kind of too big to fail. But did you also hear too where they're thinking that like Vince McMahon's gearing up to sell?
Yes, actually, I meant to bring that up when we were talking about Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of this is looking like he's making the expense side of the balance sheet look lean.
Yeah.
So they can sell it. I mean, I've heard NBC, of course, because they're on Peacock now. I've heard stuff as crazy as Disney buying it.
Yeah,
So,
I heard the Disney one. Yeah, I heard Disney a lot. And I will tell you right now, if you want to see an agonizing death to that organization, let Disney buy it.
Check our social media that week because you will see me breaking my microphone stand, computer. Everything's getting broke. I'm going to have to buy all new stuff.
We're going to have to we'll have to take a break from the podcast to get all of our equipment re-upped. So
I will shoot WWE like Bambi's mother immediately.
Mother? So speaking of shooting storylines in the face, how about Adam Cole return to NXT to possibly cause what I like to call a meat cart of a main event?
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys didn't watch on June 1st of NXT, it opened up with a triple threat match again, number one contender for the incredible champion, Karrion Kross, who to me is phenomenal champion, fighting champion, just great. But they're trying to find out the number one contender for NXT in your house on June 13th, which is next week. So we looked at Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, Pete Dunne, sorry Dunne, and then Kyle O'Reilly, who I love. I love Kyle O'Reilly.
You got three of my favorite wrestlers in this: Adam Cole, Pete Dunne, and Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah, I mean you're looking at some of the top performers in NXT. So as they're working through
who's going to be on the rest of this card?
I know, right?
They threw them all in one match.
The whole fucking the whole back rooms.
Although
in this one.
I love me some Bronson Reed, the big New Zealander guy.
Jesus, man, I like that front flip he does out of the ring, and then just stands in front of you like I'm going to murder everything, and doesn't talk. Love him. Yeah, he's my guy too. Karrion Kross and him, if they had a tag team, I would never watch another card. But the three skilled technicians we just spoke about, Gargano, Dunne, and O'Reilly, were going through a hell of a triple threat match. It was a kind of by the books match until you heard, almost like the night before Christmas, along came a clatter. Adam Cole the chair to fuck up this matter. It was slamming into everything that moved, including plexiglass. I mean, Adam Cole required the entire back room of security to come out with Regal to try to get him out of the ring. He finally followed suit. But I think this could actually lead us to see these 5 men in a ring competing for NXT
I don't
Gold.
know the last time I've seen a fatal 5-way. I know sometime in the Attitude Era it had to have been.
Oh, yeah. It was definitely there because those storylines were audacious.
Yeah.
But I think, wow, what a championship match that could be. And honestly, that's the best way, too, if you want Karrion Kross to lose the belt to go up to the main roster, which I think is what they're trying to push. And
he'll be released next year.
Yeah, and then Scarlett Bordeaux will be by herself for a couple months until she gets put through tables for 2 months by Nia Jax. Fucking idiots. But
Karrion Kross to AEW 2023.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you guys. I can't wait to see you take on Ethan Page for the AEW Championship, Karrion.
Dude, him versus Murder Hawk Monster.
Oh,
phenomenal. Archer, yeah.
You know, for the next episode, we should play fantasy booking.
Okay.
I'm
down with that.
That's what we're gonna do in the next one. Because
I don't think there's any pay-per-view shows this week.
No pay-per-view shows. But
so something I learned from this Adam Cole thing.
Yeah.
He hasn't won a singles match
all
year, and now he's in a title match. I'm going to get that promotion at work, y'all. I'm bringing a steel chair. I'm just hitting everything.
Yep, absolutely.
Give me a raise. Give me a raise.
Yeah. I actually went out to Lowe's the other day, and I bought a steel chair.
Oh,
because we're allowed to go back to the office starting next week. Papa's going in with the chair.
Yes.
So, speaking of the news and in-ring returns, This one was kind of weird for me to see. 'Cause I didn't think it was going to happen. But Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio, known now as what, Alberto El Patron.
Yes.
Okay. He had his trial postponed to August 2nd of 2021 for aggravated kidnapping and sexual assault with respect to the victim, a former romantic partner of Patron. With this postponement, El Patron is now free to wrestle Andrade, who we just spoke about, for the promotion Nation Lucha Libre on July 31st of 2021.
NLL.
Yeah, so this will, great organization.
Yeah. I don't know what they're doing bringing Patron in.
I don't know either.
They don't need him.
That's a hot button.
Nobody should be touching this guy.
But I think at this point, Andrade needed an opponent, and I think if Andrade had a choice, he wouldn't have done it, but the promotion's doing what they want to do. But to go into, so if
I'm sure him and Andrade have like real life history.
Probably.
Like, they might be friends. I hope they're not though, and I hope Andrade just
Stiffs
smears his nose all over his face.
I don't know, man. Alberto is fucking brawly, dude. He's ripped.
Yeah, he is. Because he was an MMA, not very successful,
not
but
successful,
an MMA
but
fighter.
he built to train as one, and he's just he's yoked.
I think he had some wins.
He did. He had a couple.
He's no slouch.
But he is
an asshole.
And he also clearly has an anger problem because he's alleged to have committed a 16-hour fit of torture in September of 2020 where he accused his former paramour and victim of infidelity, which she adamantly denied. From there, Alberto tied her up, struck her several times, sexually assaulted her, and threatened to kidnap her son and leave him, and I quote, in the middle of the road somewhere. I don't know, man. You're looking at someone like Tessa Blanchard, who can't get signed because she made some shitty statements.
Yeah, she's a piece of shit, too.
She's a piece of shit.
Not this shitty.
But she can't get signed.
Right.
And this dude's about to wrestle one of the most premier talents in the world. Sounds
like Tessa needs to talk to NLL.
Yeah, man. Apparently you can get signed over there. You should know, though, Adam, that if El Patron is found guilty, he could face up to life imprisonment.
Good.
Yeah, and I think he should. If these are things that he's actually done.
I mean, there's also been allegations of him doing the same thing with Paige.
Yeah.
Former diva and women's wrestler of WWE.
Yeah, and
so it's not like this is out of nowhere. This seems to be his character trait.
This seems to be something that he partakes in, and of course, we're speaking of allegations,
right?
So, and I'll tell you this right now: if we find out that he didn't do any of this, I'll get back on this podcast and I'll say I'm wrong and I'll apologize and I'll eat a bunch of crow pie. But
he's still a shitty wrestler.
He's still a shitty wrestler, and I think when he tried to be the
an allegedly shitty person.
Yeah, allegedly shitty person. But you know what? If you're wrong, you're wrong. You fit the punishment. But if you're right, I'll get on here and apologize to you. Maybe I'll even buy you a beer. Maybe. Speaking of dickheads, this is my dick move of the week. So, we spoke earlier about Double or Nothing, and I think Adam and I both referenced how much we enjoyed the women's championship match. And of course, there's only two in that match, and one of them being the ultra-talented Britt Baker. So the WWE decided mere hours before Double or Nothing hit to put out a media presser on social media where they featured a squash match between Nia Jax and Britt Baker in 2016. So if you didn't know anything about Britt Baker prior to what she did in AEW, she did wrestle in multiple promotions, but most notably, she was in WWE in 2016 and 2018.
For a cup of coffee in the big time.
Cup of coffee in the big time. And she was used as creamer to that coffee because she was squashed and used as dark talent. So they showed Nia Jax basically throwing Britt down with an overhead slam and then landing her big leg drop on Britt and getting her with a pin. A very weak pin, too, by the way. It was like a hand on the chest. Very, very Chris Jericho-esque, if I could. Yes. But I would like to say that the joke's on them because Nia Jax is now a comedy asshole, slips on water because Mandy Sachs says so.
Literally, her asshole is the comedy.
Yes, and you're screaming "my hole" into the camera because you took a hit on the apron, while Britt Baker just beat one of the top women talents in the world, and she's holding one of the most coveted belts in the world. So WWE, you win our dickhead move of the week. Praise be to Pittsburgh Pride. Britt Baker.
I have a big question about this.
Yeah.
What's Adam Cole think of all this?
Yeah, good Lord. She fell down and got hit with a flying elbow. It's not a flying elbow. What is it? A leg drop.
No, not Michael Cole.
Oh.
Adam Cole, who's dating Britt Baker, who works for WWE.
Sorry, I was making fun of Michael Cole because he sucks.
Yeah, he sucks.
I think,
He sucks out loud. How much is his contract worth? Let's get rid of him.
Why couldn't he get cut? I mean,
let's do vintage Michael Cole and cut him.
Oh my goodness. So
maybe somebody I hate worse than Kenny Omega in wrestling right there.
Michael Cole?
Maybe.
So if you had to pick you had to pick one of these guys, and you had to pick Michael Cole or
Kenny Omega.
Not Kenny Omega. The announcer for
Excalibur.
Excalibur. So you had to pick Michael Cole or Excalibur, and they had to call. So one of them has to call the card we just watched, Double or Nothing. You have to pick one of them. Who are you going to pick?
Oh, well, Excalibur, because he didn't do... I mean, he was irritating, but he wasn't as bad as Michael Cole during a WWE show. I think Excalibur's young and could get better. Michael Cole has always sucked out.
He's always been terrible. And at least Excalibur knows the names of the moves. That was an elbow drop. No, that's a leg drop.
At this point, even the names of the wrestlers, because Michael Cole seems to be forgetting that quite often.
Yeah, why did that start happening? And when was that acceptable? Isn't there like a thing in the background that says you have to know these things and don't say these things?
Right.
And, yeah, Michael Cole's like...
Yeah, the McMahonisms.
Oh, yeah. That could be the next dick move of the week.
Oy.
So, moving away from things that are dickhead into things that you should love to enjoy.
I love beer.
I do too. And you should know that Adam continues to bring you some of the best beers in the burg. While we were sipping on one ourselves here, don't forget that while we do make this phenomenal podcast, we also put our minds together and make some of the best beers that you can get your hands on. So, Adam, if you could please let the people know what's on tap.
Yeah, sure. We have the Jojitorium Orange Blossom Double Honey IPA still on tap and available in bottles. We have our Pilsner, which is not long for this world. It's heading off. It's a hoppy Pilsner at 5.8%. It'll be gone this week. Available in bottles, probably not going to be on tap much longer.
Yeah.
It's got to make way for what I'm going to tell you about in a second. Then we have Mom Jeans on tap number 3. That one's still rolling strong. Come grab some up. And in the 4th spot, we have Retired Triple Agent, our jalapeno pineapple triple
R.I.P. Connell. R.I.P. Connell.
Which went really well in week 1,
yes.
but we still have a second keg. So
yeah, get your hands on it.
Ask about us.
Yeah.
Ask about them. The secret one coming up, though, releasing next week, if everything goes perfectly, will be Dad Shoes, our Lemon Shandy Blonde. It's our attack on Lion and Kugel's Lemon Shandy. It is better. So come get some. It's going to be ready a week before Father's Day. Come get some. If you're a dad, come get some for yourself. If you're not, come get some for your dad.
Yeah, they will not be disappointed.
Father's Day joy.
Yeah.
It's a great summer sipper. It's coming in at like 5. I think it's 5.5%.
I was gonna say 5.5.
So it fermented really well. I just have to lemon it up and get it in some kegs. Probably Monday or Tuesday. So come hit us up. In addition, I would like to make an announcement about some beer fests that we have already confirmed. We will be doing beers and bruises, or brews and bruises.
Brews and bruises.
Brews and bruises. Thank you, Matt.
That's what I'm here for.
On September...
Riddell.
On September 18th, that'll be at the Green Tree Sportsplex. Get your tickets. Tickets are on sale now, Matt? I know you've been looking into it.
Tickets are on sale, and you can get VIP general admission or early entry. And I think the cheapest tickets come in at $40, and the VIPs, I don't know what they are, but you get a lot of perks with that one.
You got to slap the silver pint glass out of my mouth because I'm just serving, so I don't.
But
buy tickets, please.
Please, because it will sell out.
Yeah, it's going to sell out. It's one of the first big brew fests in Pittsburgh to come back.
And I'm bringing a bunch of DWTB swag too. I got some. I'm gonna say I got some koozies. I got some stickers. I'm gonna be selling super kicks for $5. So come on down and you can try your best to do a Shawn Michaels impression on me for $5.
Yeah. Then the very next day we will be out at the Greensburg Homebrew and Chill event.
Yeah.
Sunday, May 19th. I want to say. I'm forgetting my dates right now, but it is the Sunday after the Brews and Bruises. We will be bringing similar beer to both events, so if you can make it to one and not the other, that's okay. If you want to make it to both, that's fine too. But yeah, we will also have some Decaying with the Boys swag out in Greensburg. That is at the All Saints Brewery in their back parking lot.
Yeah, and if you haven't
Great
been to
time
that yet,
every year, and we are the defending champs.
Yes.
After a vacant year, we won with the Pumpkin Roll 2 years ago. It will not be making a return this year, just out of fairness. We will be bringing that to maybe another festival.
Yeah.
On November 6th.
Yes. This is what I'm very excited about.
There is Fueled by Hops is putting on the Drink the Cookie Table beer fest.
Yes, formerly known as Yin's Fest.
Yes.
It's been reassigned and renamed.
Yeah, so that will be at Spirit in Lawrenceville. So,
Which is such a cool venue. The Spirit is such a cool venue.
Come down, a little inside peek for those of you who might not belong to Fueled by Hops. Join up. But the thing about Drink the Cookie Table is every brewery that's invited is near guaranteed, if everything goes well, to at least bring one dessert beer.
Yes.
And I hear there's going to be some like bakery pairings with some breweries locally and stuff like that. We will be bringing 2 dessert beers, including the Pumpkin Roll. That is the one we are confirmed with. Our second one
Up in the air.
is up in the air. I got 2 ideas I'm pitching between, and they're both huge hits. So, yeah, that's it. So, September 18th, September 19th, and November 6th. Get your tickets when they go on sale. We will be hyping these, off and on through the weeks and every week when we get close to them.
Yeah.
So if you forget, we'll remind you.
And also, too, if you don't remember what's happening with these festivals, please do not forget to follow Adam on all of his social media, at @bash_brew on everything. That includes Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And do not forget to follow him on Untapped, because we are constantly pushing out some of the best brews in the burg. Also, too, another big shout out to Necromancer Brewing. We actually ended up drinking another beer here, too, while we were chatting, the She Knows beer.
Yeah, the She Knows beer I mentioned at the top.
Yeah.
That they did with Trace.
Fantastic.
And the Diversity Council.
Yeah, thank you so much for that beer. So if you want to find out what's happening with Necromancer, please search them out on all social media.
Yeah. Necromancer Brewing Company.
There you go. Necromancer Brewing Company. See what they have going on. Very skilled brewers over there, and they're very friendly.
And one more note. I know we mentioned last week about a possible tailgate on July 3rd.
Yes.
Pittsburgh still has a ban on tailgating. So if that's not lifted by July 3rd, just keep posted to our socials and this podcast. We will let you know about any alternative locations.
Yes.
We will be serving samples somewhere in the city on July 3rd.
We are going to make it happen.
But just not sure if it's going to be the parking lot at PNC Park yet.
We'll see what happens. I hope it'll be the PNC parking lot,
so.
because it'd be a cool party to then not go to the Pirates game. And then, too, if you want to know what's happening here with Decaying with the Boys, all you have to do is follow us at DecayingWTB on all social media. That includes Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And please send in your listener emails, questions, and whatevs to decayingwtb@gmail.com. Thank you again for following us and listening. And until next time, cheers.
Cheers. Always follow Proto.